Welcome to our lesson for today. Just so you should know the rules by now. You are expected to have your literacy book and a pen or pencil with you, so you are ready to start today's lesson. Today, we are going to be writing a letter. As you can see, I've got my CAD in front, and you should be able to see that. So if I just quickly go through the CAD, in order to write a letter, you should have pronouns, adjectives. You need to write your letter in first person. Make sure you have your paragraphs, coordinating conjunctions, fronted adverbials, and I'd like to see some contractions. Let's see what our letter is going to be about today. So we've been looking at an extract from The Boy at the Back of the Class. So you may know it's related to our story, okay? For the starter, okay, I want everybody to try and recall the first time you joined a new class or the first time with a new group of children. Some of you have recently joined ECS, some of you have been there since the beginning. Just remember the first time you joined a new class or a new school. If you haven't joined a new class or a new school, just think about a new group of children. It may have been at the leisure centre or when you went to the park and you met a new group of children. It could be any time. Do you remember how you felt? Were you made to feel welcome, and how? What did you find helpful and what did you find challenging? Just think about your situation, think about your scenario, and answer these questions. You can jot it down, you can make bullet points to help you so you remember, or you can just do this briefly in your head. I will then go through my example, so I want everybody to pause the video and write down your answers. I will stop the video as well, and I will show you my example in a second or two. So my example for the starter is when I first joined ECS, and some of you have known that I started in September. I will now speak about my experience, and then I would like you to share all your ideas and send them through via Class Dojo. So do I remember how I felt? When I first started the job, when I became a teacher at Eastbury, I was very nervous to see all the children, the adults, and I was excited to have my own class as well. I was really excited during summer that I started having a superhero theme for my class. I don't know if most of you have seen our class in Birmingham, but we have got a superhero theme. So I was really excited about that because I got the ideas from my class and we all came together and we decided what we were going to do for our classroom. So that was really exciting. I was also excited to have my own very first class and to see all the kids in my class. I met them when they were in year 3 with Miss Huck. I was made to feel welcome because Miss Raymond gave me a tour of the school, so then I knew how and where everything was. I remember having a welcome pack and I was introduced to all the members of staff as well as my class. So I was really excited about that. That helped calm my nerves down as well. I found the introduction and the welcome pack very helpful so that it helped me during my teaching year this year at ECS. Okay, so that's just a brief idea of my example. I'd like to see your one too. Moving on from our starter, let's see what we have to do today. Moving on, so we've done a lot of talk, we've had discussions, we looked at the illustration, we made our prediction about the extract. So now today we are writing a letter. So your main task for today is to use your ideas to write a letter offering the new boy some advice, support and reassurance to support him with settling in. We know that this boy has come new to the school and he's a new boy, so we need to help him, we need to give him some advice. I've got a few questions for you to help you plan your letter and write it out. We know that we need to have paragraphs, so when we start a new paragraph, it's when we generally start a new idea. So when you're planning your letter before you start writing it, I've got a few questions to help you. Whilst writing your letter, I'd like you to think about these questions. You can pause the video when you are planning your letter so you can see what you need to include. So the first one, if you were to speak to the new boy, who is likely to be having similar thoughts and feelings as you will have had, what would you say? How would you reassure him when he is likely to feel nervous and lonely at times? What advice would you give him? So when I first started teaching and becoming a teacher, a few teachers were giving me advice. So that would be your advice for a new child when he comes into our class or when there's a new child in our school. How would you help them to feel less nervous and lonely? Think about having a buddy or a partner. So I don't know about Exeter, but there have been children in Exeter and both Birmingham as well. What did me and Mr. Connolly do? Okay, I don't know if you remember, but we partnered the new child with a buddy. So they were helping them throughout the school, helping them for the breaks and lunch, taking them to the toilets, giving them a tour. So maybe you could include that in your letter. When you are writing your letter and planning it, I'd like you to go back to the first slide, okay, which I will do, so you know what you need to include. The CAD is your success criteria for today. This is your main task. You can pause the video and start writing your letter. Most of you have been writing a formal and informal letter a few weeks ago. That was your task. Remember, we wrote a letter to the Prime Minister. You wrote it to your favorite teacher. You wrote it to your friend in Iceland. So you have got an idea on how to write a letter. You can go back to your posters that you have created for a formal and informal letter to help you. You can also research how to write a letter. I will then leave this up. You can pause the video and start your main task. I am looking forward to reading your letters to the new boy to help him settle in his new class. Thank you, and I shall see you next week. Tomorrow's lesson is up on the school website, so you will then create a task all by yourself. We won't have a recorded lesson. It's only for Monday to Thursday. Thank you, and I look forward to reading all your letters.